Hi, my name is Sarah Foster, and this is my third video blog for Brian Johnson's multimedia reporting class. Today I'm going to talk about the third assignment, some of my expectations, how I thought it went, and then some of the things I would like to work on for the future. So the third assignment was really cool. It was to take pictures of an event photo story. So students in Brian Johnson's class had to find an event to go to, and then they had to go tell the story. But not only did we have to tell the story through photos, we also had to write a print story, about 250 words, telling the story of the event as well. So my event was the National Center for Supercomputing Applications 30th anniversary. So to celebrate their 30th anniversary, they created an exhibit at Spurlock Museum, which is a museum on the Urbana side of campus. And so I went to the debut for my photo story, and it was a really cool event. I had a lot of fun learning about computer science, and then it was also a challenge for me to become a better journalist because I was thrown with a lot of complex topics like compressors and computer engineering definitions, I guess I would say. And it was just really cool to learn what they were talking about and to kind of ask the people I was interviewing to, oh, could you explain that again? Maybe, or what is this? What is that? Kind of things like that, which would help me tell the story better for everyone else's understanding. So I really liked how I chose this event because it did teach me so much about journalism. One of the things I wish would have been a little different is how it was just kind of an event where people would walk around, look at exhibits, maybe eat some food. It wasn't really super. It wasn't really super active or anything. I mean, people were just kind of perusing and then leaving at their own pace. But it was pretty cool, and I really liked. I really liked the fact that I chose this event. So for my text story, I originally thought about writing like a news story, but I realized that since this is about something that's kind of complex and kind of difficult to learn about, I thought maybe I should write a feature story. And I noticed in my notes, I'm a feature writer by heart, so I always tend to write down descriptions about what the people I'm interviewing, what they're doing. And I noticed that Barbara Jewett, she is the Public Affairs Department's managing editor at the National Center for Supercomputing Applications. I noticed that she was wearing a shirt that said National Center for Supercomputing Applications. In the future, I'm just going to refer to them as the NCSA for short. Well, she was wearing a shirt that was advertising the NCSA, and I noticed that she kept smoothing out her blue jeans. And then I asked her why she was wearing the shirt, and she just said that she's very proud of the facility that it's become. So I really wanted to feature Barbara and her passion, but also how the pride that she has for the NCSA. So that's what I decided to open my story with, and then I inserted a nut graph about making the story relevant, like why is it newsworthy, and then as I went on, I got some of the history of the NCSA, I asked why it was founded, and I learned some interesting information about how Barbara, she said that the NCSA was created so scientists could study gravitational waves, and that was really time-worthy and timeliness because scientists just discovered, they proved the existence of gravitational waves, and I learned through this interview that the NCSA was actually part of it. That was one of the reasons why it was founded. So I thought that was very important because normally people, when they look at the NCSA, they just see Mosaic or the supercomputer Blue Waters, and those are all fantastic things, but there are multiple other sides of the story that I thought were important to feature. So while I was there, I also got to talk to Scott Coyle, and he was one of the creators of the Cray 2. He worked on a research team through Cray and the NCSA, and it was super cool to talk to him about the Cray 2 and about how its capabilities, its processors, its memory, which only stores up to 1 gigabyte, which is crazy because it was huge. And then He also put it in context, so I asked him, I wanted to make it more understandable for readers, so I asked him what the equivalent computing power today would be, and he said an iPad 2. And that just shocked me. And I thought that, this is a really understandable detail that we can put into the story to make something as complex as a supercomputer more understandable. Because, iPads are pretty common, and I think people typically know how iPads work. So I was really happy with how the story turned out. It was a news feature story, and I got to start it the way I'm used to with a feature lead. And I love telling everyone stories, and I love talking to people about why they're passionate about the things that they do. So writing the text story was really fun. Some of the things I wish I could have done, I wish it would have been a little more descriptive. I'm kind of afraid that even though I tried my best at making it really understandable and really readable and attention grabbing, I'm afraid that once they get farther down in the story, readers might get a little bored, but I tried my best to incorporate as many details as I could that I remembered and that I knew were true. So yeah, moving on to my photos. For the first, figuring out what I wanted to start with my first photo was really difficult. I originally had it just a sign of the Spurlock Museum and then a sign of the National Center for Supercomputing Applications exhibit. I realized that, that's kind of boring. Journalism is about people, and so I thought I should start my first photo with a photo of a person. And so I found this really cool one of Scott Coyle. He was standing in such a way that the NCSA 30th anniversary sign was right next to him, and the light was catching his face really cool. So I kind of edited around to make it a little more brighter because it was kind of dark at first. I cropped it in a little bit. I love this photo. This is probably my favorite, and it's my lead image on the introduction page for the assignment. So I was very happy with this photo. So moving on to the second, I saw that there was a staircase like winding around Spurlock to where you could get like a really high angle shot of the event, and I thought this was really cool because it added context, like this is what the event looks like, this is the scope, these are the exhibits right here, and there's also a table of food in the middle. So yeah, it was, I really liked the way it turned out. One of the things I wish I would have done is there's a guy kind of down close to the right-hand corner, and his leg was kind of cropped out. And this wasn't a cropping issue. This was just me. I guess I just didn't see him at the time. I think if I would have been able to at least wait till he moved out of the frame, or at least like angled the camera to where I could get his entire body, it would have worked out a little better. So for my third image, it's a picture of a man looking closer at an exhibit description, and he's taking off his glasses. And I used this photo because I thought it was really cool how he had taken off his glasses. It was a cool touch about how he interacts with an exhibit. I originally had another photo, but it was kind of distracting because there were a bunch of people, there were a lot of feet. There was just a lot of foot traffic, so it was distracting. Like your eye would go toward the feet instead of the subject. So I found another photo, thankfully, after everyone had kind of moved out of the way, and I cropped it in a little farther. So I was pretty happy with the way that one turned out. And then I decided to add my fourth photo on it later. It was a picture of him after he had stood up. I kind of went behind the exhibit to where you could see through it, and you could see him looking down. And then I also got some of the photo in the frame, a photo of the Cray 2 supercomputer. And I thought this was a really, since it is kind of difficult to take interesting photos of something where people aren't being very active, I thought this was kind of a cool way, a creative way to show someone looking at an exhibit. I was a little worried about how the glare looked, and I hope it's not too distracting. But I thought the creativity kind of outweighed it, even though it does say Blue Waters. You can see the reflection of the banner, the Blue Waters banner in the image. I really like this photo, so I hope that's not too distracting, but that's one of the things I'm worried about. And then my next photo was of the Cray 2, Um, the Cray 2 was the second NCSA supercomputer, so I knew I had to take a picture of it because it was being featured. So I kind of cropped it in a little. It was kind of a wider angle shot, and there were a lot of things on the sides and at the top that kind of made it distracting, that kind of took away from the subject of the photo. So I hope that the way I cropped that in worked. I mentioned this to Professor Johnson several times, but I would like to get better at cropping throughout the semester. I feel like I have improved a little, but I just don't seem to have the right judgment for creating um, better cropped photos, so that's one of my goals for the semester. My next photo was of the same Cray 2, but I zoomed out to feature one of the creators who was actually there, and he was there talking about the Cray 2, giving advice or giving lessons to some of the attendees who would ask him questions. And I thought it was really important to take a picture of him, and I liked the photo because you could see him looking down at the Cray 2, looking down at his experiences and his work, and it was just kind of like, like if I think a powerful photo would be of like Picasso staring at one of his paintings. So yeah, it was kind of like, like the artist looking at his work, and I thought it was kind of cool. The next one is of Daniel Thayer again. This time he's left the exhibit area and he's gone to eat a few sandwiches, and that was a pretty important part of the event. I mean, they did have food available for everyone, so I thought that that was important to take a picture of. And I tried to be creative with the shot. I didn't want to just get someone, grabbing a hamburger or a sandwich. I got kind of down low and I took a picture of him up, looking up at him. And so my next photo is of two people, Von Welch and Jim Basney. They're looking at an exhibit. So I had chosen one where it was kind of at eye level. You could see the exhibit and you could see them, but then in the very back there was a guy texting, and I thought it was very distracting. And I noticed that in that photo that the exhibit was kind of exposed out. It was so bright. There were so many lights in the exhibit that it was kind of hard to see what was on the inside. So I decided to change it with this one, kind of a lower angle, looking up at their facial expressions. And I like this one because they were smiling. They looked really enthralled in what they were reading. I did choose. I originally was playing around with the cropping for this one, and I thought about cropping it in to where you could just see them, but then I realized that, like, they're looking down. I decided not to crop it because they're looking down, like, leaving it open shows what they're looking at. And also, it's kind of like a rule of thirds compositional technique, so I hope that works. Next is just a photo of the exhibit itself, and I liked this one because it was able to show all of the lights on it, and you could see what exactly it was. So my next photo was a family looking at an exhibit, and I thought this was really cool because they just came on their own, like they didn't have any affiliation with the NCSA, and there was a little boy with them, and he looked very interested in what was going on. And the next photo is his mom. I watched her extend her pointer finger up to the exhibit, and then she was talking to her son about, what this means, like it was an exhibit about how much storage the Blue Water supercomputer has, and I liked this photo because you could see her shadow, and I thought it was really cool how the light was kind of playing on her arm. You could see her shadow on the under part, you could see the light on the top. And so my last photo is just me looking through the window of Spurlock. I was watching these people getting ready to go walk to the coat room. They were leaving the exhibit after being there for a while, so I thought this was a kind of a cool way to end the shot. I was kind of wondering if I should crop it in more, but then I didn't because I wanted to be able to show that, this is outside, this is the door, this is the brick wall right here. So yeah. Overall, I'm very happy with the way this assignment turned out. I think my photos are a lot better than they have been in the previous two assignments, so that means I'm improving, and I'm very excited about that. In the future, I would like to get better at cropping. That's really my main goal. I just don't have very good judgment for that. And as well as like having an eye out for distracting people. I had used two previous images that had subjects, or they had things in the way of the subject that distracted or took away from the attention that needed to be there. And so with my captions, I hope my captions are good. I tried to get as much detail as I could. I included some quotes from my story from the people that I interviewed. I included like the job descriptions of the people that I took pictures of. So I'm pretty happy with the captions. I hope they're not too in-depth, but I tried to break up the informational component. But yeah, this is my third video blog, or that concludes my third video blog. I'm very excited about how I'm progressing in the course, and I can't wait to do the fourth assignment. Thanks!